All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, my name's TJ. Welcome to Kayak USA. And if you are new, I do want to put this out there right at the beginning of the video. I upload videos like this every Monday at 6 o'clock. So if you end up liking this video, be sure to go to my homepage, check out all of my videos there. Odds are, if you like this one, you're gonna like a lot of my other content there. And while you're there, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on my future videos. Like I said, every Monday at 6, I upload a new one. My members actually get to see it before Monday at 6, so if you want to become a member and see these videos a little bit early, you can do that while you're there as well. So for the past month and a half to 2 months, I have been rebuilding my fishing kayak, kind of preparing for the 2024 fishing season. I've added a lot of stuff, I've taken off some stuff, I've modified some stuff, I've even built some stuff from scratch, which you'll see in today's video. And since then, since I started this kind of kayak overhaul about a month and a half ago, a lot of you guys have seen the kayak and seen certain stuff in my last videos and have been hitting me up with questions on how did I make that, where did I find that, how can I do that? So today I'm gonna try to answer all those questions. Today's video is gonna be a full walkthrough. I'm gonna take the camera, we're gonna start at the front of the boat, walk to the back, and I'm gonna try to cover every little mod that I've done, every little add-on, why I've done it and stuff like that, and try to help some of you guys out to answer those questions on where did I find that, where did I, how did you do that, did you modify this? Gonna try to cover all of that today. Now, if I don't cover something in full detail, for you new guys that are watching, a lot of the stuff you're gonna see in today's video, I've got full videos on whenever I installed it, like the motors, I've got videos on how to install those, the graphs, the wiring, the underseat storage, all that really cool stuff you're gonna see in today's video. Odds are I've already got a video in more detail kind of showing it. This is just kind of a walkthrough of my 2024 setup. So if you don't see something or I don't cover something today, go check out my homepage. Odds are there's a video there for you. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna grab the camera. We're gonna start at the front. I'm gonna walk you all the way to the back. Might be a little long-winded, but I'm gonna try to cover every little mod and every little thing that I've done to help you guys out who have questions. Let's get into it. All right, starting with the kayak itself. So this is a 2021 Hobie Pro Angler 14, and it's the Mirage Drive 360 edition, which the drive really doesn't matter anymore, and you'll see why in a minute, but it is the 360 drive. As you can see, I've got it completely wrapped down the side of the kayak. I did it so that it would match my truck. It's the same kind of gray as my truck, and I was able to put all my sponsor decals on the back. And it looks really good. I think it matches really good. It looks good on that custom trailer we just built. But the top of the kayak is covered in marine mat. Now this is their black on top of gray, and it's got a topo pattern cut into it. I kind of custom ordered this one. Now you can actually get it now on their website. So if you wanted this same design, you can actually get it on the marine mat website. I love it. A lot of people asked if the black is too hot during the summer, and it's really not. I haven't had any issues with it getting too hot, mainly because the way this foam is, it doesn't hold heat like, carpet or anything else does. So I really like it a lot. It also gives a nice clean look. It doesn't stain up, and I like it. So we'll start right here at the front. This is my Motor Guide Xi3. Now this is the GPS with the Spot Lock edition, and it is the kayak edition. The only thing different between the kayak edition of these Xi3s and the regular is the shaft. So this shaft, I believe, for the kayak is 36 inches, and they're just made to actually go on the front of a kayak and not be too long, down in the water. I've got it mounted to my kayak using Ketch's new quick detach system. So this is the aluminum catch plate, and this is their boat board. I think it's a boat board material. It's really thick, and it's got quick detach. So I can pop this Xi3 on and off with no problem. And by using Ketch's new aluminum plate, they worked out the kinks so it's perfectly vertical when you're in the water, and it's mounted exactly center, excuse me, right down the middle of the boat. Worked out really good. I love that setup. So in the front hatch, I've got my black box for my LiveScope mounted right next to my Yak Power system, and they are mounted to the boat using a Percy plate. So that big old black plate around the back you see there is called the Percy plate. That is designed and built custom for these boats, and it's designed by a guy named Tim Percy. And I'll have links for all this stuff that you see today in the video description below, but he makes them for other kayaks too, but they're CNC cut specifically for the kayak to give you a good mounting area for graphs, wiring, or black boxes or anything like that. Next is my mounting stuff. So if you see all of this stuff right here, this is all aluminum. This is all Ketch's new products. My crossbar right here where my graphs are mounted is aluminum. My jake plates are aluminum. And everything is really solid as a rock. On top of my jake plate here, I've got my Yakatak arm where I do my front camera. As you can see, the GoPro goes in here and it faces towards me. And I use these Yakatak quick detach setups so I can pop my camera on and off, and I can actually switch it from side to side. This side you can see I've got a rod holder, but it pops in and out the same way. So if I wanted my camera over here versus over there, I could just swap them with no problem at all. Everything locks down really good. I like to run these Yakatak cleats. I got one on each side because the way I launch my boat, I like to tie it up at the dock, and it gives me a good place to kind of quickly wrap up my boat to the dock whenever I'm parking my truck. Here are two 93 SVs from Garmin. I got them mounted side by side. And this I recently built myself. This is one of my little off-camera DIY projects. I wanted a sunscreen for my graphs, and I got to looking online. They were all really thin, and you couldn't get one for dual graphs. So I got to looking, trying to figure out the best way to do it. The only ones you could get was a little thin one for each graph, and they were like 50 bucks a piece. So I just ordered me a sheet of this, this is boat board, 3/8 inch thick. I use this stuff when I'm making a lot of products for kayaks, and it works out really good. But I just cut me a piece up. It's really, it's solid as a rock, and I got it to where I can actually swivel it. So if I'm standing, I can kind of tilt it back out of the way. Or if it's really sunny, look at that. I can pull it forward and really hide my graphs really good. And I went with this thicker material because I've had issues in the past. I'll show you the back here of like setting a hook or a jig or something flying up and cracking the back of my screens. And this gives me, I come down, I think 4 inches on the back. So it gives me a good wall there to kind of protect my screens from anything like that. And it should be a really good sunscreen, I think. And that's just something that, you know, if you can't find what you need, just make it. This stuff is gonna last forever, it don't rust. I screwed it together using stainless steel screws, and it worked out really good. Nice, clean, solid look, I like it. So if you look under here, I've actually changed some stuff up that I don't know if I've showed y'all or not, but I did a video where I added these rod delete kits. So I got a rod delete on both sides here and here, and I had some of this marine mat left over, as you can see, and I was able to kind of line it up and match it and put it over that. But I did some changing to the way I had my Xi3 wired up. I had this smaller plug, but I've noticed a few trips that it was getting really hot. So I upgraded to this bigger, what is this called? Marine Co plug I found on Amazon. I'll link it below. But it's really big, it's really heavy duty. And instead of mounting it in my plastic where the old one used to be, I went ahead and mounted it in my Ketch rod tube delete plate right there. So it's out of the way more, it's really solid. And this is just gonna end up being another USB port for my camera hookups on the front. See, I got one there, and it's gonna work out really good. This is my Yak power control. So if you hit this power button, it turns power on to my control. My #1 button turns on both graphs. Let's see, the B is for my bow light. So if I hit that, so you can see my front Yak power bow lights turn on. You can see the reflection of my green one over there. Mid, the M button right here, it actually powers up all my USB ports for my camera charging. And S, I don't have hooked up, it will be my stern light. And #2 powers on my black box for my LiveScope. So everything is kind of right here at the touch of a button, I can power everything up. All right, working my way back to this thing. A lot of people has asked about this in the Hobie community on Facebook. I posted some pictures. I don't use my Mirage Drive anymore. I've got 2 motors on the boat. I take a paddle with me, and for the last month, 2 months, I haven't even taken the 360 with me. I used to take it with me just in case I needed it, but I mean, I've got a paddle. If I got to get to the bank, I'll get to the bank, so I just don't bring it with me anymore. So I wanted to delete this hole, and they don't really make anything. I've got the cassette that pops down in there and kind of blocks the hole, but you're still stuck with this big crevice, and when you're trying to measure your catch or you drop lures, stuff always goes down in there. I wanted it flat across, so what I did is this is actually made, it's gonna be hard to show on the camera, but this is made out of the same boat board that I make everything else with. This is 3/8 inch thick. On top is some marine mat that I actually had here. It's the gray on top of the black. Around it, a lot of people were like, well, you can't plug the hole, that's your scupper hole. It's not all the way sealed. And you can see, it's not perfect either. But this is all open. So any water that gets in here is gonna be able to flow right around that with no issues at all and exit through the bottom of the boat. But the way I did it is up under each side of this, if you're a Hobie owner, you know you got your little black shroud in there that your drive clicks into. It's just a black piece on both sides. All I did was drill a hole in that little shroud, put me a nut on the bottom. On this plate right here, I recessed a couple of Allen bolts. They screw in, my marine mat goes over top of it, and it's like they're not even there. And it gives me a nice flat floor. I mean, look how much room I've got. I mean, this is just a nice, big, open area for my feet, for measuring fish, for whatever. I can stand up, turn around, walk around. I love it. I love having this flat space right here. That brings us to my center hatch. This is my floor hatch right here. And the way I've got it set up, in the little pocket right here, I keep an extra little quick detach release for my kill switch, I guess it's called, for my NK300 motor, my boat registration, and some other stuff shoved in there. But I use the bucket. I don't use the little stow area for toolboxes. And I've got my worms, I got some soft plastics. All of my scents I try to keep in here, and my garlic and stuff like that, I kind of keep it right here so I can grab it and drop it back in. I don't want it mixing or flopping around, you know, with anything else. And then if you pull this out, if I can do this with one hand, oh, I did it. Pull this out, you can see what powers all of my graphs, my batteries, I mean, not my batteries, my camera batteries, is that battery right there. That is the Dakota Lithium 23 amp hour battery. And that controls my graphs, if I can get this gimbal to work, my graphs, my camera hookup, and my LiveScope black box. Now, eventually, I may add a separate battery for the LiveScope black box. For now, I'm gonna run it because that battery only runs those items and that's it. So I've never had it die on me at all. But I may end up, I just added LiveScope, so I'm gonna test it and see, but I may end up adding a dedicated battery for the LiveScope. But for now, that one kind of runs both graphs and my batteries, I mean my camera batteries. What am I trying to say here? So that's all hidden right there, out of the way. I love having this big area. I really, really like it. So under my seat right here, this is the Dewalt Tstak, and I've got a video on, you know, a long time ago when I installed it. I think I actually installed it in my yellow Hobie in that video, but this actually used to be yellow. This, all I did was paint the front of the drawers to kind of match all the gray in my kayak. But all it is a 2-drawer system, one of the best mods you can do. If you can get this box to fit up under your seat, I don't care what kayak you're in, I suggest you do it. As you can see, I'm able to put a buttload of, I mean, I've got all of good, this is kind of like my Topwater box, and I've got my scales in here, but I got jerk baits, whopper ploppers, the Guggen revolvers down there. Up here, look at that, I've got crankbaits, rattle traps, lipless. I've got everything you need. I got some pop-bars back there that I didn't even know were back there. But I've got you can hold so much tackle just in these 2 drawers, and they're really easy to get to. The drawers lock out of the way, and you don't have to, you know, bother with opening. You know, used to I had 2 or 3 boxes that I'd have to open each one and kind of dig through. Now I literally just reach under my feet, pull this drawer out, and grab the lure I want, shut it back, and I'm good to go. And speaking of the seat, so this is the Hobie, what is it, the Vantage seat, and I've had a lot of kayaks, and like I said, I'm not sponsored by Hobie, but that is the best seat that I've ever had in a kayak. I absolutely love it. I do run it with my KBF Kayak Kusion. I love that. I need to get me the matching back bar back there for it for those long days, but I love having the cushion on here, but I've never had a kayak with a better seat than this Vantage seat. Hands down, best seat that you can have. I can sit from daylight to dark in that seat and not have any issues. So if you look on the side of that little Dewalt box, that little Tstak that I just showed y'all, I've got this new Yakattack TracPak, and this is their pickpocket. It opens from the side, and it pops right open. And this is where my chesty camera batteries are gonna go, my cell phone batteries, my keys. There is a little gasket around this that kind of seals it up good. And you click it up shut, lock it, or clip it down and it locks into place. And I'll have quick access to, you know, like I said, my batteries, my cell phone, my keys, my wallet. Everything is gonna go into that little dedicated spot. It's tucked out of the way, as you can see, completely hidden on the side of my seat. And just, you know, I can, when I need my phone, I can just reach down, pop it open, get what I need, pop it back shut. That is the coolest little track pack. I love that they come out with these this year. I have modified mine. As you can see, these are made to stack together, and you'll see some other ones I've got where I kind of cut some stuff off of them. This one is actually bolted to the side of that T-stack, so it's rock solid where it is, but I love that setup. Hadn't got to use it yet, but I know I'm gonna be happy with that. I love when, you know, a plan comes together and everything kind of works together like that. Next up, we have my LiveScope setup. Now, this is brand new. If you've been following the channel, you know that just like probably, what, one video ago, maybe 2 videos ago before this one, you've seen me install this LiveScope setup. This is the new LVS34 Garmin LiveScope transducer. I've got it mounted to the Fischer pole here from Dugout Bait and Tackle. Works great. I love how I did this. Look at this. This is solid as a rock. It does not move. I've got it mounted in here using these solid rubber quick fists. These are designed to haul like shovels and pickaxes and axes and stuff like that. I put 2 of them on here and it locks it in when I'm stowing, or, you know, when I'm running down the highway, it stows it perfectly into place. And when I'm ready to go fishing, I pop these 2 things back, pull it out. I'm trying to do everything one hand here, guys. So I drop it down into place, and then look at that. Bam, instant LiveScope setup. I love it. Completely, you can completely spin this thing 360 all the way around. I absolutely love it. And then when I'm good to go, you know, when I'm ready to pack up, I just pull it off and it clamps right back into those quick fists. There's you a better look at them. The way I've got my wire running, it comes out of my transducer and it goes, I don't know if you'll be able to see in there, but see, it goes right through my little Hobie plug there for my transducer. That goes into the boat. Everything runs through the inside of the hull all the way up to the front to where my Blackpack is mounted up there where I showed you on my Tim Percy plate. And that is my LiveScope setup. And it mounts to the side of my H-rail using this Fischer mount that I actually modified, and I went over that in the install video. And it mounts to my H-rail using Ketch's little Hobie H-rail adapter plate, which this bolts to my H-rail, then the Fischer plate bolts to that Ketch plate, and everything is rock solid. Works out great. It's real stealthy looking. I really like it. So now I'll show you the back of the seat. So the back, I run, this is called a Blue Dot cooler from Blue Dot Outfitters. Now, I do have a link and a coupon code for this, but I've been told by people that this was discontinued. I'm not sure. The link will be below this video if you want to go check them out. I love this thing. It's a really thick cooler, and it's designed to hang on the back of your kayak seat. But I've had a few people tell me they've tried to order one and they haven't put them back in stock. So I don't know if they stopped making them or not, but it's a really cool, if you can get one, I do suggest grabbing one of these. Behind that, I have my aluminum Ketch board mounted. Now, I've kind of combined Ketch's mount system with a little custom mount system so I could hide it. See how well it's kind of self-contained right there behind my seat, out of the way. And when I need it, I can just turn around. I got a little bungee cord here. I pop my bungee cord off and I can just slide it out and measure my Ketch and then turn around and put it right back where I need it. I like putting it there because it's out of the way and it's using up space that wouldn't get used, you know, otherwise that space would just be open. So I love being able to make things to take up space that you wouldn't use anyway, you know, and that worked out really good for that situation. Now on top of this, and I've got all of that hooked together, guess I can kind of show you. See right here, this is a Yakattack 90 degree hooked to another 90 degree hooked to a piece of plate that I've got the Ketch mount on this side, and the other side's the same way minus the Ketch mount, and it just slides into that little Ketch board mount. If it'll quit focusing, there we go. I slide it in there and then it just bungees down on the other end. And I've got all of that connected to my Boondocks landing gear bar. It's got a T-track that runs all the way down it. I don't run the Boondocks much unless we're camping for the weekend somewhere. I'll take it with me just in case I need it. But for, you know, the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I haven't really even put it on my boat. Right here, I've got another USB port, and that is for plugging up my camera for all-day power. Because if you run these GoPros, if you're just getting into this and you're wanting to film your trips, run your GoPros. I'm trying to turn this gimbal up. My GoPro will be way up here. But run it with no battery. Make sure you, if you're gonna hook it to a battery system on your boat, take the battery out of your GoPro. If not, you're just gonna overheat all day long. It's gonna keep burning your battery up. So what I do is I actually use this is my DIY pole. I actually built this on the channel here, shoot, probably what, 4 or 5 years ago, guys? A long time ago. And it's telescopic, and I've got my plug here on, well, if I get this gimbal to work, I got the plug here. It plugs into my USB port there, and it runs inside the pole. As you can see, mine don't wrap like everybody else's, who their wire just kind of circles the pole. I ran mine inside of it, and it comes out right, if I can get this gimbal, there we go, right there. And I'll plug it into my rear camera like that back there. Works out really good. All right, now let me see if I can get this out of the way so I can show you the back of the kayak. I told you this is gonna be a long-winded one. I'm trying to cover everything. That way, if y'all got questions from now on, I can just refer you to this video. All right, so back here, as you can see, I do run one Hobie paddle or a half a Hobie paddle. And that's really just for emergencies. I've got it strapped into a little Hobie paddle holder here, a little bungee right here. And I kind of got it tucked up under really tight. It's locked there solid. That's really just in case I need it for emergencies. I have never had to pull that off to use it, knock on wood, but so far it's done really good right there. I travel with it strapped right there and hadn't had any issues. Now this is my Yakattack Blackpack. This is the 16 by 16 Blackpack. It's the big one, and it looks completely different than anybody else's Blackpacks that you're gonna see out there. And that's because I like, you know how I am, I modify my stuff to fit my needs. This one is not for hauling tackle. Like you'll see the inside of this one in just a minute. That's why you see the tackle storage on the outside of it. So these little things right here are what come in Hobies that hold these little boxes. And if you have a Hobie, you know exactly what this is. This comes in the front square hatch, like that hatch right there. And they hold 2 of these boxes when you buy your Hobie. But you can also get these on Amazon. And I'll have it linked below too if you just want to do the mod like this. But you can hang these little things anywhere you want. It don't have to be on the side of your box. You know, I used to have them where they hung off the side of my H-rail and it worked out great. But I wanted tackle storage back here because, like I said, I don't have any inside this box. So I've got 2 of those boxes on that side and 2 on this side. And it worked out really good like that. I mean, I'm able to haul between my seat, you know, up under my seat, I showed you guys my drawer system. Between that tackle storage, my floor tackle storage, and this on the outside, I don't need any more tackle than that. Not on a fishing trip on a kayak, I don't anyway. But I've got that tackle storage on the side. Back here, you'll see that I've got these step-off plates, and you see this gap right here. That's mainly because these boxes are kind of designed for these rod holders to be on the side of the box. And that's how you'll see them when most people have the same box and the same setup. If you look at their setup, their rods will be on the side so that they can open their lid all the way back and get into it. So if you mounted these directly to the side on the back, these hinges would be in the way and you'd only really be able to put 2 rod tubes right in the middle. I wanted all 4, and I also still wanted to be able to open my lid. So I just took some of that boat board and I made me a little step-off plate, and then I mounted them all on the back. So now I can haul 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rods off the Blackpack, not to mention my little Hobie rod holders. I got 1 on each side of that. So, and I really don't use those. I usually don't bring more than 6 or 7 rods with me anyway. Now, if you look on top of the box, I've got 2 of the new TracPaks from Yakatak. and I've already kind of modified them. They're made to click together like I mentioned earlier. I took off the parts that hold it together. These are actually screwed down, and I got me some bungee in the middle here for stuffing gloves or, you know, something I can just kind of cram up under there if I need to. But these are gonna be great for hauling like stuff that I wanna throw in there to try out that day. If I got some new lures, I can just chunk in there. I can throw a few bags of worms in there that I wanna try. Just some extra storage on top, and it's out of the way. Like I said, it's using space that I just had extra anyway, and it gives me some good storage options. Those little TracPaks are really awesome. I'll have them linked below. Y'all check those out. So the inside of this Blackpack, now remember, this is the 16 by 16, so there's a ton of room. Let me get this camera right so y'all can see in there. It latches shut really good. Like I said, I'm still able to open this lid and get in here if I need to, but I really don't need to get in here a whole lot except for at the beginning of the day to turn my battery on for my Xi3 up front. But as you can see in here, I've got 2 batteries. This is my Newport battery from my NK300 motor on the rear. This is a 36 volt, 40 amp hour battery, Bluetooth controlled. I mean, this is a beast for that NK300, and you really need it for that NK300 because it's so powerful. But in front of that is a battery that I'm kind of testing out and trying. And this is for my Xi3. This is a Power Queen 12.8 volt, 100 amp hour battery. Now the battery that I usually run for my Xi3, that's what this one runs right now. The battery that I usually run, where's it at? Is that bad boy right there. That is my Dakota Lithium 100 amp hour battery. Recently I changed to this setup where I'm running the batteries inside this Blackpack, and I couldn't fit both of those batteries back here. Power Queen had sent me this mini battery. So as you can see, this is a tiny battery, but it's still the same specs as that big 100 amp hour Dakota Lithium battery. So I'm kind of testing it. I've been out on 2 trips with it, running the Xi3 on the bow. So far had no issues, and look how small it is. It's super small. It's running the motor so far with no issues. If I do have issues with it in the future, I'll let you guys know, but so far so good. And it's a lot lighter. It fits in here. I can't wait till Dakota Lithium comes out with their mini style battery, because I know it's coming, because a lot of companies, these batteries are just getting smaller and smaller. And the way I got it run in here, everything's strapped down with foam. These are not going anywhere. And this is a little, I think it's a 60 amp breaker that I've got. So before I get on my fishing trip, I'll come back here, I engage this breaker, which sends power up to the front, to that plug right there, which powers up my Xi3 where I got power to run it. And it's a good little setup. This turned into a really nice, solid battery box for the back of my kayak. And I still am able to have all the storage that I need right there on the outside. I've got 4 of the planos, 2 on each side, and my TracPaks on top now, along with the 6 rods. Really, really good setup. I'm really happy with the way that worked out. And behind that box, I've got some bungee straps. I don't really, you know, it's just the factory Hobie bungee straps I got back here. I don't ever stick anything back here, but if I need to, I've got area, you know, to stick something back there. Worst case scenario, if I'm going on a kayak camping trip and I need to cram a bunch of gear back here, I've got the extra room. Right here is my NK300 setup. Now I've got a full video on this install with all this stuff I'm fixing to show you. So if you've got questions, be sure to check that video out. But this is the Tim Percy rear motor plate. And this is the one designed for if you want to run dual power poles. So I could actually put a power pole here and a power pole there if I wanted to. I don't fish really skinny water, and I've also got the Xi3 up front, so I don't have, you know, I've got spot lock, so I don't need the power poles. So I don't see me ever adding power poles, to be honest with you. But the plate worked out good for me because I was actually able to reroute some of my steering cables and my reverse cable for the motor away from the center line of the boat. You can see them over here. And then this side, I've got a little, one of those Catch Exact Track right here. This is a little bitty one. And I just put it on there so that I can run my rear light off the back of my kayak. If I can get it back far enough to show you. See, I've got it really far on the back. It's my Yakatak rear light. And then right here is my baby. This is the NK300 by Newport Vessels. And that motor is a beast, I'm telling you. I mean, if you're in the market and you're thinking about finally adding a rear motor to your kayak, that's the one you want. I'll have it linked below. I might even have a promo code for you below, but that is the motor you want. I've tried them all. I've had them all. That's the best, I promise you. So the way I've got my system set up here, this green cable or this green rope is how I lift my motor up and down to stow it. This little gray one, where is it at? This one here. So you can see when you pull it, it latches that pole right there. And that's if you want to go in reverse. If you throw the motor in reverse to keep it from kicking up behind you, I pull that little cord, it locks it down in a down position so you can back up at full throttle if you need to without the motor, you know, kind of kicking up out of the water. This is the hookup. They use that nice Anderson style hookup for the motor. Really nice, really heavy duty stuff. I love, love, love that motor, guys. You definitely, if you want a motor for your kayak, that's the one you're gonna get right there, I promise. All right, we're on the home stretch. We're on the other side of the boat now. You've seen all of this. That's the Yakattack storage. That's my side storage here. The two cables come down the side of my kayak right here. See if you can get a good angle here. The gray one, like I said, controls the reverse. The green one is my tilt. Let me see if I can show you. Let me switch hands with this gimbal and show you how the tilt works really quick. So first of all, I've got this. This is a Yakattack. It's the big one. I can't remember exactly what he called it, but it's got the cup holder, it's got the T-track in it, it's got the plier holders. I did modify it to fit my boat, and as you can see, I added a little ram ball mount right here, and that's because this guy right here is the green cord, and this is what I pull. Whenever I pull it, it actually stows my motor, and I'm gonna pull it really quick to show you. See my motor going up, and then what I can do is I can take and put this over top of that ram ball, and it actually stows my motor in the up position, which works out great. I'm not gonna stow it because I want you guys to see how my steering system works. So yeah, that is the Yakattack. I can't remember what he calls that. It's the XD, it's the big one, but I kind of modified it so it sits a little bit more low profile. I added it to these Hobie H-rail mounts, and it hides it under there. Gives me a good cup holder that's out of the way. I like my stuff to be kind of clean, out of the way, so I got plenty of room to fish, and that did the job for me there. But as for the steering, so this is also a Tim Percy setup. I installed the same steering system whenever we installed that NK300 with all that Tim Percy stuff back there. And the way it works is I've got mine paired with the Ketch steering handle. This is aluminum steering handle with their spin knob. So I can grab this and steer the whole back of the boat. And check it out. So the way the Tim Percy setup is when I turn this, as you can see, it turns the motor. Let's see if I can get them both in the same shot. See the motor turning, but look what else turns. Let's get up under here. See my rudder back there? Let's see, there it is. So when I turn this, not only does it turn my motor in the back, but it also turns my rudder up under the boat, which gives you high efficiency in turning. I can turn this thing on a dime. I can do donuts. This thing is awesome. This setup is solid. And you need this nice solid setup when you're running a motor like that, because that NK300 has a lot of torque and a lot of power. I mean, with that motor, guys, I have gotten this boat, this fully rigged boat. Now, this is a heavy setup, I know, but with that NK300, with this kayak completely rigged out, I have gotten top speed at 6.8 miles an hour with this Hobie Pro Angler 14, which is crazy, I know, but it does it, and it's solid, it's really dependable. There's my little Ketch. I wanted to show you all that little logo right there. So I was able to adapt this. I did talk to Tim Percy. He's gonna make a new steering plate which accepts this Ketch aluminum handle, so more people can do the setup like I did, but I kind of fabricated mine and did it myself, and it worked out really good. There's my Ketch board. This little red handle here goes to my gray cord that I showed y'all, that it just activates the lock back there for when I want to go in reverse. I can pull that and lock it. And let's see, the inside right here is a little bag that I added. This actually come from a local subscriber. He lives near me, and he stopped by and he left this in my mailbox one day with some custom lures that he had made in there. And I love the lures that he made for me, but I also love the little bag he left me, and I incorporated it, and I put it right here because I always need a place for my towel, my hand towel, when I'm fishing, and I've got my fishing gloves. I've got some buffs in here because I always need that stuff and I'm always having to dig for it. Well, now I got like a little dedicated pouch right here, and it come from a subscriber, which I thought was really cool. Right above that, I've got my NK300 throttle. This bad boy right here, it operates just like a bass boat. You push it forward to go forward, you go back to go back. It shows, I don't have it plugged up, but it shows your percentage in there, your battery life. You got a quick kill switch right here for it. And it runs just like a bass boat, and it's solid to my H-rail because of this mount right here. This is another one of those catch plates. The same one that I used, you seen me put on that side for my LiveScope setup. I've got another one right here. This is their H-rail plate. The plate is bolted directly to the H-rail. My throttle is bolted directly to the catch plate, and it's solid as a rock. It gives you a really, really clean, solid connection. All right, let me pause it right here for a second because I forgot to mention this. So this is my Xi3 remote control. Most people have it on a lanyard, they wear it around their neck, or they keep it in their pocket. And I knew I was gonna get a lot of questions about the way mine's set up. So this is not something you can buy. This is a case that I 3D printed, and I'm able to strap it to my vantage seat armrest, or my rail right there beside me. And I just keep it strapped there with a Velcro strap. That way I don't have to dig around for it. I don't accidentally forget it. I never ever take it off my seat. It just stays strapped there at all times. And it's really handy for when I'm fishing, or if I'm standing up and I'm spot locking, or I'm trying to kind of navigate the trolling motor around some docks. I can just reach down, bump it, or reach down, hit spot lock when I need to. Anyway, I forgot to mention that as I was doing this walkthrough, and I knew a lot of you guys were gonna ask about that, so it worked out really good. I'm really happy with that setup. So anyway, back to the video. And look how much space I got in this boat. I absolutely love this setup. So guys, I told you that was gonna be long-winded, but I hope I covered everything. I was trying to think if there's anything that I missed, and I can't think of anything that I missed in this video of this walkthrough of my new setup. If you've got any questions about it that I didn't cover in the video, like I said, you can hit me up in the comments. Or if you see something that has potential for a better idea, or you could figure out a way to do something a little bit better, let me know in the comments. I love getting feedback from you guys. This is how we build really cool boats to go out on the water and really help improve our fishing and our day out on the water. You want to be comfortable out there when you're out there spending, 8 to 10 hours a day just looking for fish and enjoying life. You want to have a nice setup. You want it to be the way you want it. And I love, getting ideas from you guys and sharing my ideas with you guys so we can continue to enjoy being out on the water. So I really appreciate you guys watching, those of you that are still with me. I know it was a long-winded video, but like I said, I hope I answered a lot of those questions. If you're new here and you did hit subscribe today, I really appreciate it. Like I said, every Monday at 6, I got a new video, except for my members now. Y'all get to see them a little bit earlier, which is really cool. That's a new thing with YouTube. I'm glad they added that for y'all. So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this week's video. I appreciate you watching, and I will catch you next Monday at 6 o'clock. Peace.